A New York courtroom, silence, and a sudden jolt to Hollywood's nerves. Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni, who not long ago were selling audiences a love story, are now preparing for war. Judge Louis Lyman postponed their trial, and that decision rang like an alarm bell for both sides. News of the delay spread through legal corridors faster than rumors on a film set. The case between Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni has officially been pushed back by nearly 2 months. Instead of March, the trial is now scheduled for May 18, 2026. The formal reason is the court's heavy workload and the priority of other criminal cases. But behind the dry wording lies tension that can be felt even behind closed doors. The decision was made during a status hearing on discovery matters. Attorneys were present, their faces expressionless, yet everyone understood. A pause in a case like this is never just a pause. The judge emphasized that the conflict between Lively and Baldoni remains significant and will not fade into the background, no matter how much some participants might wish otherwise. For the public, it looks like a delay. For the parties, it is extra time to regroup. Updated court records appeared the same day, and from that moment it became clear the story is only gaining momentum. The question is not whether the trial will happen, but who will emerge victorious, and with what reputation. While the court date has moved to the distant spring of 2026, an equally fierce battle is unfolding behind the scenes. The next round of confrontation between Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni is expected early next year. That is when lawyers for both sides will appear before the judge to argue a crucial issue orally, whether the case will even be heard on its merits. Baldoni and his company, Wayfarer Studios, have already made a sharp move by filing a motion for summary judgment. In plain terms, they are asking the court to dismiss Lively's sexual harassment and retaliation claims without a full trial. In legal circles, this is often seen as a sign of confidence, but in Hollywood, such a step is frequently perceived as an attempt to sweep things under the rug. Lively's team responded immediately and forcefully. According to them, Baldoni and Wayfarer Studios are not seeking justice, but trying to avoid accountability by hiding behind procedural technicalities. Sources claim that behind the dry language of legal filings lie emotions, grievances, and broken agreements. The judge must now hear arguments from both sides and decide whether Lively's story deserves a full jury trial. This moment could be decisive. Either the case gets the green light or one side scores a victory without ever entering open combat. Against the backdrop of legal maneuvering in the courtroom, a word both sides fear is being whispered more and more loudly: settlement. Judge Louis Lyman carefully, almost coldly, reminded the parties that if they wish to discuss compromise, they should contact another judge. The wording was neutral, but in Hollywood, such phrases are read between the lines. Officially, the court expresses no view on reconciliation. Unofficially, sources say the pressure is mounting. The longer the case drags on, the greater the risks to reputations, contracts, and future projects. For Blake Lively, it is the image of a public figure. For Justin Baldoni and Wayfarer Studios, it is the trust of the industry and its partners. Still, neither side shows any sign of backing down. Baldoni's representatives stress that they are confident in their position and intend to see the case through. Those close to Lively, on the other hand, speak of principle and a desire to put a public full stop on the matter, not one reached behind closed negotiation doors. The tactic of waiting has become part of the strategy. Every statement, every leak of information is a calculated shot, not only aimed at the judge, but also at public opinion, which plays a crucial role in this case. While lawyers prepare their arguments, the media tracks every detail. Lively's case against Baldoni has long ceased to be an ordinary legal dispute. It is turned into a loud story about power, influence, and the boundaries of what is acceptable in the film industry, where public image often outweighs legal wording. CNN has already asked representatives of both sides directly whether any settlement talks are underway. The answers were predictably evasive. From Baldoni's side came a firm stance. Wayfarer Studios remains committed to the truth and has no intention of deviating from its chosen path. Sources close to Lively say nothing has changed for the actress. She and her legal team continue preparing for trial as if there had been no delay at all. Their rhetoric increasingly reflects confidence and calculation, as though time is working in their favor. Behind the outward calm lies nervous anticipation. Every month leading up to the trial is a chance to strengthen a position, or to make a mistake that will later be dissected frame by frame, like a scene from a film, but without the option of a reshoot. The postponement has given both sides a rare resource: time. But in this story, time can be either an ally or an enemy. Lawyers are analyzing messages, testimony, and documents, knowing that every small detail may surface in court. In cases like this, details often change everything. For Baldoni, the stakes are high. Having the case dismissed at an early stage would be a major victory and a way to save face. For Lively, the key remains the opportunity to tell her version of events to a jury without being confined to the dry language of motions. Insiders whisper that the atmosphere between the parties has long moved beyond the professional realm. This is no longer just a legal dispute, but a personal confrontation where every concession is seen as weakness. That is why compromise seems unlikely, despite the court's subtle hints. As the new year approaches, the feeling of calm before the storm becomes more pronounced. Formally, nothing is happening, but it is precisely now that the foundation of a future trial is being laid, one that could become among the most talked about in the entertainment world. Spring 2026 is still far away, but the shadow of this trial has already fallen over careers and reputations. May 18th could become the day when the story of It Ends With Us finally loses its romantic aura and turns into a harsh legal precedent, watched not only by fans, but the entire industry. If the trial goes ahead, Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni will face each other not on a film set, but before the law. There will be no script and no director, only facts, interpretations, and a jury tasked with deciding where the truth lies and where a carefully constructed defense begins. The ending of this story has yet to be written. A loud victory for one side, an expected settlement, or a drawn-out process that leaves scars on everyone involved. All are possible. But one thing is clear: no one is backing down. Hollywood loves happy endings, but reality rarely follows the rules of cinema. And that is precisely why this legal showdown promises to be unforgettable, with consequences that will be discussed long after the verdict is delivered.